So look at that, Amtrak as far as the eye can see. Now, this is a video on my single level Amtrak train that I bought this year as well, that's comprised mostly of these sort of tubular Amfleet cars that were built in the 70s. I think they're also Bombardier creations, I can't remember what they are, or maybe they're raw, I have no idea. And also there's two Heritage, in inverted commas, cars. There's a Heritage Diner and a Heritage Slumber Coach there as well. Now, this is meant to roughly represent the long-distance trains on the northeast, namely the Lakeshore Limited and Empire Service. In fact, the Empire Service would only be these four cars at the front, and then the Lakeshore Limited has the dining cars and the sleeper cars as well. I don't have any Viewliners, but I don't know if the period would be right for Viewliners. I can't remember. Also, they're extremely difficult to find in Phase 3, which is what I want. Anyway, these Bachmann coaches, I got these for a whopping, I think they were about $15 each or something. They're Silver Series Bachmann Amfleet cars. Now, I think if I remember rightly, they were originally designed to be just standard coaches, the equivalent, I guess, of a TGS or a DV, or whatever those, trailer type cars on the Intercity 125s in the UK. Behind there was actually a kind of lead unit and a trailing unit for these, which made it into basically a high-speed train called the Viewliner, which I think was short-lived. It didn't really pass the testing phase, I can't remember anyway. But anyway, these passenger cars that they developed out of them have been in service for years and years now, and they still form the backbone of most of Amtrak's kind of stock on the northeast, certainly in the east, the eastern regions of America. So we've got three coaches, 1, 2 and 3, and this is a cafe car. The reason I decided to buy one of these is that I went on this train recently. This train is meant to roughly represent the Lakeshore Limited, which goes between New York, Boston and Chicago. Basically it goes north from New York to Albany, where it meets up with the rest of the train, which has been coming from Boston. So they join up there, and then from there they go on to Chicago. And then when they're coming back from Chicago, they split up at Albany into sections, one that goes to Boston, one that goes down to New York. So I took it from New York north. Had a lovely time. The views are fantastic on the Hudson River. And in fact, I do actually have a heritage in New York State. So it was nice to finally see where I'd had family living for quite some time, I think. And yeah, these coaches are very comfortable. I think the amount of space inside them is great. It's luxurious, in fact, compared to English trains, because the loading gauge is so much bigger. I mean, look at that. That's how far apart the wheels are, and look how much space there is either side of the rails. Isn't that something? And basically what that means is that they have they still have the standard 2 seats and 2 seats either side of the aisle, but it just means they're so much more spacious. It's like you'd think you were in first class, but it's only standard class. That's what's amazing about these things. They make for a very comfortable ride. So I will show you the lighting kits in a minute, but these basically are the revamped versions of Bachmann's older line of Amfleet cars. They did some relatively crappy ones that I had a few of, and I've decided to get rid of them because I like these ones much better, because they have better lighting kits, they're better made, they have blackened wheels, so they look more realistic, and they have red marker lights at the back, which I'll show you later. They've also got knuckle couplers and all kinds of nice detail added. So yeah, you've seen the coach now, they're pretty standard. I'll get the coaches out of the way and we can take a look at the other varieties of car. So, basically, to do the Lakeshore Limited I should probably have another coach and another sleeper to properly have the full length of the train. Now, when I was on the Lakeshore Limited, it was severely delayed because of some very nasty weather relating to, I'm not sure if that was Hurricane Irene yet, but it was certainly very serious storms all up and down the northeast corridor, and so we had quite a lot of trouble getting to where we were trying to go to. So yeah, basically I hung out in the cafe car until about 3 in the morning, when I finally got off. And I have to say, actually, huge thumbs up to the Amtrak staff, who stayed calm and actually quite jovial, and they were very friendly and making everybody, you know, they were just having a bit of a laugh and really made the whole thing less stressful and so on. So my thanks to them. Basically, this is kind of a sort of more casual version of the diner. The diner, you have to actually make reservations in. This you can basically just turn up and order something. They've got kind of cold snacks, and I think they can do like hot coffee and pizzas and little heated up sandwiches and stuff. So basically, yeah, they've got little tables in here that you can sit on and watch the scenery go by while you have a little something to eat. So yeah, they're very comfortable. Basically, the cafe is in the middle here, right about where it says Amtrak. So yeah, that's the cafe car. Unfortunately, the lighting system in this one is much weaker for some reason. I don't think it's LED. That's got to be the reason. I think this is still incandescent bulb. So basically, the LEDs just come on from a very low power level. But these, you have to get them you have to get the power way up top. It has to be going really fast for you to even see the lights at the same brightness as the rest of the cars, which is a little disappointing. But anyway, I mean, it's still a very nice looking car. Now on to at the moment, the only heritage Amtrak cars that I have. These, I think, this is an ACF, or no, it's a Bud diner, Bud build diner, and this is a Bud slumber coach. The idea of this one is to make it economical, and to basically, each one of these is a separate sleeping car, sleeping room. So basically they can cram as many as 20, I think they're 24 roomed sleeping cars. So they've got 8 here, and then, like, I guess, 12 or so in the end here. Anyway, it's and I think my granddad travelled on them at some point when he was going backwards and forwards between Washington DC and Chicago in the 60s, on when this would have been a B&O car, and he said it was actually very comfortable. So that's the sleeping car. I should probably have another one of those to make a proper train, but this is the only one I could find on short notice. These are old Walthers cars, and they're actually extremely difficult to find because they've now been discontinued, which is a shame, because I always thought that for the price they're fantastic little models, and you can take them all apart, you can customize them basically to your heart's desire. You can paint the insides, you can fit a lighting kit, you can put anything in them you want. They're very adaptable, and you can even take the sides off. They're very easy to paint, and you can add little details on the side, and they're absolutely brilliant. And as I say, they're relatively cheap, but they've discontinued these now. I think they're planning on bringing them out again, but with the chrome plated thing, which would be nice, actually. That would look really good, and it would certainly match my Superliners, though I don't think I'd bother getting another one. So yeah, this would have been, I think, a Pennsylvania diner, or I don't know what it would have been exactly. Somebody should probably let me know. So yeah, the idea is with these that you book yourself in every day for breakfast, lunch or dinner. I think maybe it's just dinner, and it's very fine dining. I'm pretty sure the cafe is more kind of casual, I guess is the way I'd put it. So yeah, this is a very nice car, and so is that. So we'll get to some running videos. Okay, see you next time. So yes, here's a close-up of these Amfleet cars with the lights on. You can just about make out there the red lights, the red marker lights at the back. Those are a really nice touch. I'm really glad they put those in. And yeah, you can see the lights on my other train. I've basically just stuck the power on so you can see what's going on. In fact, this looks very much like Washington DC station, with the exception of the Northern Pacific train, because you've got a long distance Superliner train, and Amfleets as well. All you need is the Acela back there and it would be Washington DC. So yeah, that gives you an impression of how the lighting system works on those. It's nice and bright, so and this is relatively low power actually, so you can see just how well they show up. My brother's got a bunch of these cars in the Phase 5 scheme that I think was short-lived. But yeah, he's got a bunch of those, and he's painted and detailed them as well, so they look really, really nice. So just check back to see what these look like, what this whole scene looks like once I've done the lighting kits in the Superliners too. Okay, see you next time.